That's a hard question. It's part of it is the old romantic ideal, feeling this connection to this long line of working men across the country who made America great and built the dams and built the railroads and all of that. But that doesn't go very far. That doesn't get you through a bumpy ride or a cold night. I do still get a charge out of sitting back in a train and watching the whole train stretch out behind me as we're going someplace. That's real nice. Um, I ride because I like to go places. I don't like to stand still. I spend some time in Portland every year, between 3 and 6 months. The rest of the time I spend on the road. Stay in one place too long, I feel like I want to go someplace else. It's adventuresome. I get to see areas, get to go see my friends that I haven't seen for a while, meet new people, find new kinds of work. I've got this large concept of freedom, which is fairly romantic, which says that when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to ever wake up and say, oh hell, do I have to go do that today? I want to look forward to what I'm going to do every day. This is one way to do it. When I don't want to ride, I won't ride. It's that simple.
You ever run into any trouble with the cops, with railroad cops?
Yeah? Your average railroad cop is a nice guy. Some of them are super efficient and slick, just like city cops. And in fact, in some states, railroad police are sworn in as public police officers, so their jurisdiction is limited to the railroad. But they can arrest you and press charges and do all of those sorts of things. To just friendly folks to say, howdy, I'm a railroad cop, here to Hobo, you're not supposed to be here, leave. I've been roughed up by cops in Newark, New Jersey, for instance. It was not a pleasant experience. Went after the hair. If you want to hurt somebody and not leave any marks so you can't have them gotten on police brutality, you go for the hair. You just grab it and start shaking. Hurts like hell and don't leave a bruise. They did that. They threatened me with their guns. One of them had those karate sticks, brandished them, cuffed me wrong with one arm twisted behind my back, pushed me out of the locomotive so I fell on my face in the ballast, Xeroxed all my ID, my address book, didn't return some of it, and just were generally unsatisfactory and unsavory.
How do you eat and sleep when you're on the road?
The usual ways. You eat with your mouth, you sleep on your side or your back.
Let me try that again. Let's take it one at a time. Where do you usually sleep when you're on the road?
Depends where I'm riding. Most every kind of a ride that you'd want to take, you can sleep on it. You just stretch out and go to sleep. There's always the problem if you don't know the train you're on or the railroad or the line or whatever. They could cut you off and you'd be stuck someplace. So you'd pretty soon develop this talent for being able to sleep real well when a train is going and waking up instantly when it stops. Find out what the hell's going on. Sometimes you can't sleep. Sometimes the rides are so bad that all you can do is stand up. So frequently you don't sleep. You sleep in the yards or in the jungles when you're not going someplace. You're waiting, something like that.
What about missions and things like that?
I sleep in a mission now and again, but I don't like having my ear banged with Jesus Christ. And I avoid the missions as generally being hangouts of sleazy types like winos and missionaries. And so I avoid them whenever possible. I'm glad they're there when I'm stony broke and it's raining out and ain't no place to sleep. But most of the time I try to keep a little jack in my pocket and I'll go find a cheap hotel if I want to go someplace. But some places you can't anymore. I was in Fort Worth a few years ago. Had some money in my pocket. I'd been on the trains for 10 days. I was dirty, I was tired, I was sleazy and nasty. And all I wanted was a hotel room where I could go take a bath, put on some clean clothes and go to bed. Got there are only 2 cheap hotels left in Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth, Texas, your typical cowboy town where you expect there to be all that sort of stuff. 2 cheap hotels. Urban removal is taking them all away. I had to go sleep in the Mission. I mean, it was either that or go hitchhike out the outskirts of town and pay $24 to Holiday Inn. Ready? Going?
Good.
A lot of people want to make elitist definitions of the term hobo, i.e. it's kind of like belonging to the Masons or the Elks Club or something. you make the definition as restrictive, therefore nobody else belongs and you the only one around, the only show in town. Some people, the classic definition has been a hobo works and wanders, a tramp dreams and wanders, a bum drinks and dreams. I don't make these distinctions. I use the terms tramp and hobo fairly interchangeably. I'm not interested in excluding myself from large blocks of humanity for some reason or other to make myself look good, particularly. So, to me, the term hobo is anybody who spends a significant portion of their life riding on freight trains for whatever reasons and whatever style they want.
Shorty, was it a rough life on the rails?
It was at times, yeah. At times it wasn't too bad.
What was rough about it?
Oh, about running in the railroad bull, you know, you didn't know what he'd say. Sometimes he'd tell you to get off railroad property. And then you took a chance with the city police, you know. I was carrying a bedroll, you know, and a bindle, an old gunny sack, you know. And I had an old Benny that was C&A pockets and, you know, pockets in it to take out. They'd see me up on the main part of town, you know. The hobos call it the stem, you know. The police may pull up and say, what are you doing that? And, you know, you didn't know what situation would rise, you know. It'd get a little bit complicated sometimes.
How did you make your living while you were
I mostly bumming. I worked very little outside of setting pins while the war was going on.
bowling pins?
Yeah.
Where would you sleep when you rode into town?
Oh, I usually sleep out along the railroad somewhere. Usually a boxcar. There used to be a lot of depots open. Of course, they've torn them down. They put up these small ones now. Pretty near any town had a depot open as a rule. Nobody would bother you.